You know what we've never done on this channel in like the 10 years that I've been on YouTube is rate every Legend of Zelda game, which is kind of a big deal considering a lot of you subscribe to this channel for the Legend of Zelda stuff. And I figured it's been over a month since you've seen a Zelda video per se. You guys are probably crying, screaming, begging for something Zelda related. So here you go. We'll go through and we'll rate them all, and then I will give a little bit of commentary about each game because that's what you guys want on the internet, an opinion. Now from the outset, I actually haven't played every single Zelda game. So we do have S, A, B, C, D, played but haven't finished, and have not played entirely. Played but haven't finished is like I've played most of it and haven't finished it, but not enough to kind of give my full opinion on it. And have not played is probably like I've played for like 20 minutes and been like, ah, yeah, nah. Should we go through and do all of the ones I haven't played and haven't finished first, and then we'll get to the real meat of it afterwards? I reckon let's do that. So like original Legend of Zelda, I'm gonna put in have not played. I've probably played it like 30 minutes tops. Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, I've played that even less. So that goes in the have not played section. I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this one. I just know it. All of the Zelda purists are gonna be like, what? But I haven't finished A Link to the Past, but I have played about halfway through it. So I'm gonna put it in the played but haven't finished section. Link's Awakening Deluxe, I also haven't played, but I have played the Switch version, so we'll get to that. That's there, don't worry. The original Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask games, I also haven't played.
What's wrong with you?
I have played the 3DS remasters, by the way, just so we're clear. Okay, so I feel like we kind of need to go and take a bit of a backstory to mr-agame's love for The Legend of Zelda, because it didn't happen when I was a kid. The first Zelda game I played through and completed was when I was 21 years old, and it was The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. I did play Ocarina of Time as a kid, but I only got up to halfway through the Deku Tree because I didn't know that I could crouch with my shield, and I died from a Deku Nut and I got scared and I never touched it again. I haven't played the Oracle games either. I haven't played Four Swords. I have played Wind Waker, but I haven't finished it, so we're gonna put that in the haven't finished. But don't worry, just like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, I have played the Wii U remaster. I haven't played Four Swords Adventures. I haven't played Phantom Hourglass. I haven't played Spirit Tracks. And I think this is it. Here we go. Yeah, we're looking good now. I've played the rest of these. Very good. Okay. I hope you've learned something already. mr-agame is a Legend of Zelda fraud, I tell ya. The Minish Cap, I only played a couple years ago and I really enjoyed. I'm an absolute sucker for Game Boy Advance color palettes, and this pixel sprite imagery was just absolutely beautiful. The one thing that I did not like about this game at all was the final boss. If I didn't have save states, I would have quit. I remember you fight Vati at the end, and then afterwards you think you've finished, but then you fight this massive machine thing, and there is no save point in between that, and there should be, because you get destroyed by Vati, and then afterwards you still gotta manage beating that other thing. I'm gonna put it in the B section. Like, it's a great handheld Zelda game, but it's not like... It's not a Link Between Worlds. We'll get to that in a minute. Great. Here we go. The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Okay, so I have played the OG one on the Wii. I prefer the Wii version over the Wii U version, which we will get to soon. If you've been around this channel for a long time, you would know that The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, for the mainline Zelda games at least, is my least favorite. If I could sum it up in like less than a minute, I love the story, I love the music, I love the dungeons, but everything else in between, particularly the overworld, is just like such a slog and so constant. I despised being forced to be Wolf Link to collect bugs for like the first half of the game, and the world of Hyrule only started feeling fun once I got the Master Sword and it felt a whole lot less restrictive. It should be an amazing Zelda game, but everything else in between that just weighs it down so much. You know what? I even did a video on this. You know, if you want to hear all of my thoughts on Twilight Princess, there is a video that you can watch. But I'm putting Twilight Princess in the C section. I can imagine everyone, torches, pitchforks, here we go. This is a great start, isn't it? Welcome to mr-agame, like and subscribe. You never forget your first Zelda game. Am I right or am I right? I remember just like ignoring all of my university assignments and smashing through Skyward Sword, and I tell you, fighting Demise at the end, my first Zelda finale, I was like, this is sick. I love the story of Skyward Sword as well. The chase for Zelda, like trying to find where she is and then finally catching up and then realizing that she is a bigger part to play in all of it, is just unbelievable. I love the scene of like, I'm still your Zelda. Oh, peak cinema. However, there are better Zelda games, don't get me wrong. Like, I know a lot of people didn't like the motion controls. That does weigh it down. I do love the remake. Hey, the HD version isn't on here. We're just gonna assume, just gonna bundle it in with that. You know what, let me get a picture. This came out like there, didn't it? Okay, there we go. Okay, we've got HD. The Wii version, I'm going to put in the B section because I like it more than Twilight Princess, but there are better Zelda games, which we will get to. Ocarina of Time 3D. Man, what a journey. What an absolute banger of a game, and what a remaster. They added quality of life improvements like motion aiming. Unbelievable. I really, really love Ocarina of Time 3D. We've done a complete playthrough of that. You know what? For all of the main 3D Zelda games, there is a playthrough on this channel. I thought Ocarina of Time was sick, all right? I'm putting it in the A section. The Wind Waker HD. Straight up into the S section. This is my favorite Zelda game. When I finished Skyward Sword, Wind Waker HD had just come out. So I went and picked up Wind Waker, and I tell you, my brain, like the chemistry in my brain changed. I know a lot of people really weren't happy when Wind Waker released on the GameCube because they wanted that dark, gritty Zelda game, but for me, I see Wind Waker as just like the perfect adventure. You go sailing and the music and you've got all the fun characters. You've got Makar. It's just got that cute, fun whimsy, but it also holds together everything that makes Zelda Zelda. My biggest gripe with Wind Waker is when you beat a bokoblin and they fall over and you have to wait for them to get up and then you can hit them again. You can't hit them when they're down. I think that's stupid. I haven't played through the OG Wind Waker, but I know that sailing is a chore in that game, and they fixed it with the Swift Sail. Fantastic. Sure, you can play it on Nintendo Switch Online, but Wind Waker HD, oh, there's something special about that game. It just like... oh, I played A Link Between Worlds kind of within that year after playing Wind Waker HD, where I was on my complete Legend of Zelda high and was just like, oh my gosh, now I can play it on my 3DS. I'm putting it up in the S section as well. A Link Between Worlds changed the Zelda game just enough when they needed a change. Just like, hey, you want to go to that dungeon? Yeah, you can do it. You don't have the item for it? Oh, you can just rent it out. Like... how sick is that? The puzzles of going into the walls, fantastic. What a great little gimmick, and it works so good on the 3DS. Like, the 3, you crank it up. If I were to ever do another Zelda playthrough, I am pretty sure that the next game I would play is A Link Between Worlds, purely just because it is such a magical adventure. Now, there are 3 versions of Hyrule Warriors. I've only played the Wii U version. Actually, you know what? No, that's a lie. I played the 3DS version because I wanted to get the code where you can unlock more characters on the Wii U version. Imagine playing Hyrule Warriors on your 3DS. No. The story made, like, no sense. But, like, for this game to run on the Wii U, I had a pretty good time with it. I've never played Definitive Edition on Switch. I've heard that's, like, a lot better as well. But look, it's a good time. It's not the best time, but it's a good time. I'm gonna put you in the B section, all right? So I never played Majora's Mask on Nintendo 64, and so my first experience playing through the entire game was on my Nintendo 3DS, which is the special edition, but you know what? Just give me a sec. Do I have it? This is my Majora's Mask new Nintendo 3DS. I have played this to death to the point where, like, the oils of my fingers from playing it like this here have rubbed off onto the faceplate of the console and, like, marred it. Disgusting. I don't know what the point of that was. I just wanted to show you guys. I like Majora's Mask more than Ocarina of Time, purely because of the side quests. The side quests are what make this game special. The Anju and Cafe storyline where you reunite them right before the moon is falling and then they say the line of "we will face the morning together" because they're just so in love and they don't care if they die. Unbelievable. It's like one of the best side quests in all of The Legend of Zelda. I like it more than Ocarina of Time, and so with that, Majora's Mask, you are an S-ranked Zelda game. Okay. Triforce, okay. I think if Triforce Heroes released like now in the Switch 2 era with game chat, I reckon people would love it a lot more than when it came out on the 3DS. I think the giant problem with a game like Triforce Heroes is that it forces multiplayer. Like, you can play it in single player, but it is just such a tedious experience having to like control 3 different characters. It's just like... there's not really much more I can say about it, but like, I reckon if we gave it another chance now with the advancement of technology, it probably could be received a lot better than what it was back when it released in like the slump of Nintendo, you know? I remember trying to play with some friends one day and just the fact you couldn't voice chat, it was just rough, man. Triforce Heroes, in you go, into the D section. And you know what that means? It's not in the played but haven't finished series. It's not in the have not played series. I have played Triforce Heroes to the end. Twilight Princess HD. Alright, okay. Wind Waker HD improved Wind Waker to a point where, for me, it's the perfect remake. Twilight Princess does not hit that mark with Twilight Princess HD. And it's a real shame. I prefer the original version more than the HD version, and it shouldn't be that way. It's more like the quality of life stuff to make sure that this game grows well with its audience, and I feel like Twilight Princess HD just does not hit that mark. For a remaster, what it does is like it expands the wallet sizes and then it removes some of the tedious bug sections when you're stuck as a wolf. The bugs that they remove, they still require you to go to every section of the Twilight realm anyway, so it feels kind of pointless. Motion aiming, absolutely love. I think that's great. A welcome addition. But then things just like the opening act of the game, they could have like sharpened it and just made it just that little bit more snappy so you're not doing goat in simulator twice in a row. Or just making the overworld that little bit more fun to engage with. I feel like it could have really gone a long way in terms of a remaster. Yeah, sure, you've heard enough about my gripes about Twilight Princess. We're wrapping this up now, you know, please wrap it up. In terms of a remaster, it didn't hit the mark like Wind Waker did, and it's a real shame. I'm putting it also in the C section, but it should be higher. And that's what disappoints me. Like, Twilight Princess HD, it should be higher than the original Twilight Princess, but it isn't. When's the next Breath of the Wild video, mr-agame? Breath of the Wild is like one of those games which comes along and changes the landscape of video games forever. I will never forget the day that Breath of the Wild came out, and then just like exploring the Great Plateau and then landing in Hyrule Kingdom and being like, now what? Just the adventure of Breath of the Wild is unlike anything we've ever seen and experienced before. And like, you know, it's going in the S. You know that. It's going in the S section. I know so many people have come to this channel as well because of Breath of the Wild. It's brought us all together. I probably won't come back to this game anytime soon, purely just because I've played it for 8 years straight. But like, what video game can you say you played for 8 years straight? How crazy is that? Breath of the Wild, you go up there, yeah, straight into the S section. If I were to rank the ones up here so far, I would probably go Wind Waker, A Link Between Worlds, Breath of the Wild, Majora's Mask. Cadence of Hyrule is a bit of a funny one because, like, unless you are musically inclined, you probably won't enjoy this game as much. If you've got no sense of rhythm, pack it up. You ain't gonna have fun with this. It's got some absolute bangers in it. I do love the replayability of it though. Like, you can do one run and then you can go again and you're gonna have a completely different experience. Every time you die and start all over again, the map changes. I think that's really sick. So Cadence of Hyrule, you go on the B section. Link's Awakening on Switch. It's just a cool game, and it's got the little pan flutes going doo, 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 la, la. For such a vast remake of this game, it is completely faithful to the original. In terms of like mechanics and stuff, I don't think they changed anything really, but that's just a testament to the original game. That game can run on a Game Boy, and that can translate so well to modern gaming now. How crazy is that? I think that's sick. Link's Awakening, up you into the A section with Ocarina of Time, the greatest game of all time, apparently. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity is a funny one because, like, I thought the story was stupid. But having said that, the characters in that story were fantastic. You can play as Master Koga. Yes! Then you got Suga. Then you got all the champions from Breath of the Wild. And then, like, you got that weird time skip thing with Egg Boy and Zelda's Tears. Like, the story was weird. This is not a prequel. This is like some weird fanfic spin-off. But I think that's what makes Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity stand out, is that it got a little bit freaky, but at the end of the day, it was still fun. Up you go into the A section. Skyward Sword HD. See, it's a remake that fixes everything up in a way that makes the game better. Isn't that what you want from a remaster?
You guys all think you're so much better than me.
Anyway, let's move on. 60 FPS. Amazing for a game where you use motion controls. All of the dialogue with Fi, you can just like skip it. Oh, fantastic. That is what a remaster should be. It knows what the players have come from, and it's like, you know what, we're gonna make your experience just that little bit better. Skyward Sword HD, look, I'm still gonna put you in the B section, but I'm putting you above the original. Why would you play the original on the Wii if you've got it on the Switch? Like, the Switch version is the superior version. Alright. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I like this game more than Breath of the Wild. There, I said it. This game is a better game than Breath of the Wild in almost every aspect. You know what? Aside from the story. However, it has higher highs, but a lot of like the stuff in the middle weighs it down.
Demon King? Secret Stone?
What it does phenomenally well. It takes Breath of the Wild, the game that has like redefined gaming, and cranks everything to 1,000. I think with games like this, especially comparing and contrasting, is that these two games are very similar, but they serve different purposes. I mentioned this in another video when we were discussing my favorite Switch games. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are very similar to Mario Galaxy and Mario Galaxy 2. The original game brings in a new audience, and then when it comes to doing more of that, they take the original and then they turn it up and they make it as best as they possibly can. But ultimately what that does is it doesn't redefine gaming. Instead, it evolves that redefined landscape to a greater height. But what it does is it also points back to what makes the original so special. People love Breath of the Wild, right? Because like it changed what gaming is for them. And Tears of the Kingdom, I feel like a lot of people expected this game to do that again. But in reality, it was just going to evolve what was already good in the first place. And so if you come in with that aspect of thinking, then Tears of the Kingdom is a phenomenal game. I prefer to play that a lot more than Breath of the Wild because for me, you can do so much more with it. I know that it was never going to change the landscape of gaming like Breath of the Wild was. However, I like it more than Breath of the Wild. There you go. That's my S section. We're done with the S's. Echoes of Wisdom was a fun game. I enjoyed it. Like A Link Between Worlds, I like that this game gives you choice on where you want to go. Like the first few dungeons, you can pick where you want to go, and it's not going to matter to the story. That kind of freedom in a top-down Zelda game, like A Link Between Worlds, is so good. For a game like that to also evolve into Zelda being the main protagonist, and instead of just hacking a sword here and there, the echo mechanic, I think is really cool, and it really depends on how you want to utilize everything, is what your mileage will be in this game. If you want to be creative, the game lets you do that. Echoes of Wisdom, you know what, I'm going to put you in the B section, purely just because I like Link's Awakening and Age of Calamity just a little bit more. I'm going to put you there, behind Skyward Sword. You know what, can I rank it now? Let me rank it, alright? I'm going to just here. There. You know what? There we go. That's a ranked list now. All right. Lastly, Age of Imprisonment. It's interesting when you hear me talk about Age of Calamity and being like, I think the story was stupid. I did enjoy Age of Imprisonment, don't get me wrong, but they could have just done that little bit more in terms of like fleshing out characters and giving them just that little bit more personality and making sure that, sure, there's a ragtag group of people that we haven't met before, but like, why should we care about them? I feel like they could have done just a tiny bit more. I prefer the Age of Imprisonment story to the Age of Calamity story. Like, the Age of Calamity story is fun, but it's weird. The Age of Imprisonment story is like, this is the story, here's how it goes. But I feel like it is kind of just missing that little bit of like pizzazz. But having said that, I prefer it to Age of Calamity. Probably just because it's 60 FPS. Honestly, I think that's the defining factor. 60 FPS makes it just so much better. Well, everyone, we did it. This is all of the Legend of Zelda games that I have played in a wonderful tier list. And the tier list is ranked. If you have any thoughts and feelings about my personal list that I have made, please make sure you leave them in the comments below. I love that the Legend of Zelda is just a series where everyone gets together and debates which game is their favorites to the death. This is my list and I'm quite proud of it. Thanks for going on this adventure with me. If you liked the video, make sure you like, subscribe, hype the video if you can, and I'll see you next time. Remember to bring your A game.